Hi Lillian, Eric here, and just to sort of clarify, the reason why I asked that particular question about what service are you offering, I just needed to know whether or not you were offering one thing or you were offering multiple different services. I've just found from personal experience that when you offer one service, i.e. weight loss, it's far easier to market that to the people who are looking for it, and it makes you stand out a lot easier as a professional versus somebody who's offering maybe weight loss, then nutrition boot camps, core stability, and a whole range of other services. It can become a little bit confusing for the person that's looking to purchase. And I think one of the lines that Lucy used was the confused purchaser or potential purchaser will not buy. Anyway, the question that you've posed is a question which I think a lot of personal trainers have struggled with, and that is dealing with those objections that people come up with when you present your offering to help them achieve their goals. Now, you asked for a Platts who is currently selling one-to-one services, and I think from my discussions we've had before, you recognise that I do sell exactly what you're talking about. You know, we specialise in weight loss. We sell 3, 6 and 12-month packages, an investment ranging between 192 and 576 per month. And we basically packaged our services up into a weight loss coaching and training program, which we call Coach Me Slim and Trim. Now, getting on to your specific question, which was how do you move the 60% into the 20% bracket? Well, I think a better question is, how do you attract more of the 20% that you're currently working with? Because clearly you're doing a good job because you've got those clients working with you. So how do you go about achieving and attracting more of those people, rather than maybe, in my opinion, struggling to try and convert those people who are in that 60% bracket that have got a lot of excuses. So what I've done is I'm going to come up with or go through 8 steps that we use. So this isn't something out of a textbook, it's something that we use in terms of selling our programs, and it's something which you can use as well. And again, forgive me if there's some of the things I'm saying here which you've already done, but I'm going to go through this anyway. 8 steps to help you attract more of the 20% that you want to work with, rather than trying to coerce or feeling as though you're being pushy when you get those 60% people in front of you. So here goes then. Step number 1, I'm going to try and keep this down to 10 minutes, by the way, because my YouTube channel I think only allows me to do 10-minute videos. So step number 1, make sure your program is packaged and named, and I think you've already done that, but that's critically important, because once you've packaged something and named it, it puts you in a rather unique position whereby people can only get that particular service from you and nobody else. So all of a sudden it takes you out of the price wars. People can't compare what you do to something else so easily because you've got a unique service. So that's number 1. Number 2, make sure you address all the objections that you're speaking about, that you're potentially facing in your, when you're chatting to these people who are coming up with objections. You need to make sure, the objections are going to be things like lack of time, poor motivation, can't stick to a diet. Those are the common ones. You need to make sure that your program actually addresses all of those needs. So I don't know whether or not your program does, but if it does, great. If it doesn't, you need to go back and rethink that a little bit more. Once you've done that, step number 3, make sure your marketing educates people on how to overcome those objections. So anything you're putting out there is basically saying to people, look, I appreciate people struggle to find time to exercise, here's a way around it. And all you're basically doing is teaching something from your program. And if they like the way that they've been educated, they're going to love working with you on the program as well. So when you do your marketing, make sure you're educating how to overcome those particular objections. Moving on to number 4, make sure where possible you have testimonials. Most people recognize if they eat well and exercise well and are reasonably optimistic and positive, they're going to lose weight. But what they want to know is that your particular method, your system, has actually worked for somebody else. So get as many testimonials as you can. That will do all the heavy lifting for you. Number 5, educate people more on the barriers that they're faced with. Again, going back to lack of time, poor motivation, poor diet. So your high value gift, whether that's a downloadable gift or your talk. We do a talk called How to Lose Weight Without Willpower. That's our high value gift. but whatever it is, that needs to basically educate people on how to overcome some of their obstacles. Once you've got all that in place, then realistically the next thing that should be happening is people should be contacting you. And this is where it's pretty important that you have the right sort of stuff in place, in my opinion, to help minimize those objections when people actually get in front of you. And I call it the pre-qualifier. So the initial contact may be made via the phone, and when they make that contact, let's assume it is via phone, you need to have some clear questions so you can quickly identify whether or not this person is a good fit for your program. And again, all the things I'm going through here with you and explaining are things that I cover on the one-day workshop that I think I mentioned to you before, and we sort of show all of this laid out practically. So step number 6 is pre-qualify people with have a questionnaire already set up next to your phone so you can ask your specific questions, and if they seem to fit with your first couple of questions, you can then go on to the next part of your explanation, which is how your program works. Keep that very, very succinct, don't go into a lot of detail, and then you want to also speak about the investment level that people are expected to invest into your program. And there are a few other bits and pieces in there, but that's essentially what it is. And if they like the outline of your program, if they are not objecting to the investment level that you are telling them, and I say for us it's between 192 and 576, if that's acceptable to them and they like the outline of the program, then the next step is to invite them in for a face-to-face consultation. When they come in for that face-to-face consultation, they've already had the pre-qualifier, so in theory they're probably 70 to 80% there towards buying. When you go through the consultation, again, you're going to have a detailed questionnaire. You're going to ask the sort of questions that I guess most trainers would ask, finding out what their motivation is. But there's some of the critical questions which you need to ask, which maybe you've not thought about, and again, I can cover those on the workshop if you ever do come on one, or I can speak to you on the phone if you want to give me a call. But there are some specific questions which help to really dig deep into helping somebody give you the information so you can definitely help them. So you do your detailed questionnaire. Once you've done that detailed questionnaire, I would then go on to a visual solution, so showing them, we use an A3 flip chart, and we show them visually how our program works, and then based on what they've told us, we will then make a recommendation as to the best way ahead for them. So for example, somebody comes to see us, they're not exercising, they want to lose 3 stone, they haven't exercised for a number of years, and they're not currently exercising. We already know they're going to need at least 2 to 3 sessions a week for probably about 6 months. So we'd make a recommendation that's again based upon what they have told us as a result of that initial consultation, that face-to-face consultation which you've just done. Make your recommendation. If you've done all the work correctly leading up to this and followed the previous 6 steps, then really the next step is just to offer your solution, for them to say yes, that's fine, and then to go through step number 8, your terms and conditions, and organise a start date. So there you have 8 steps, which I know I've gone through very, very quickly, but if you re-listen to this, you'll probably find that some of these things you're already doing, maybe some of them you're not doing. But if you put those things in place, those 8 steps in place, what you'll find is that your objections should be covered either before they speak to you, or certainly covered whilst you're going through your one-to-one consultation. Hopefully you found that useful. Any other queries, then please do come back to me. Okay, bye for now.